Well, the past is history, and we know the present is a precious gift. But the future is so doggone exciting, and that's why we're here today at Coweers Expo to focus on the future of the dairy industry. And that's the next generation, like Elizabeth Schofield here right in front of me. And she's going to get taller, and she's going to need a career within the dairy industry. Standing beside me is Rick Warner with Farm Credit Services. Now, Rick, we know that kids today, they need more assistance and knowledge about finances, correct?
Yes.
More than any generation.
I think it's very important, especially with taxes and the laws coming out of Washington, and especially in the environment of the EPA, and then with HSUS coming down the road and trying to dictate how we're going to take care of animals. I think it's very important to get these kids out in front of the public and understanding, where they need to go and what information they need. And
well, certainly Farm Credit's going to play an important role in their life if they're in the business, correct?
Yeah, we are one institution that can give them direction in terms of finances that they're going to start a dairy. There's excellent resources in the Farm Service Agency, in which we are a preferred lender, and we do work with them. It is, again, tough to get in, because you got to bring some equity to the.
It's been a rough year, a couple of years for the dairy industry. It has a lot of volatility. What's your role in making the industry more sustainable?
I think the biggest thing is try to stand behind the dairymen that are in your portfolio already. And that's been challenges there. I mean, the milk price has been down 20-25%, and I think 2 years ago you had high inputs and feed costs, which caused a lot of stress. But the high inputs and low outputs, you couldn't make things meet. One thing I tell my dairy farmers is maybe doing selling their milk on futures, or trying to cut back on the higher energy type feeds. Where you look at in terms of cutting cost. But certainly the biggest key here is trying to get that milk price back up and get our exports back up and worldwide. So. And
that's another division of the dairy industry, correct? You might be a little more reactive, but we know you support, you want to be a friend, communication is important. And Stacy, I understand that you work with the internship program there at Farm Credit, so have you had any good dairy kids, or are you looking at some prospects today?
Actually, last year we had an outstanding student, and his family had a pretty decent sized dairy operation, and then my intern for this coming year comes from a dairy farm out in Indiana. So one of the biggest things that I look for in interns, aside from professionalism and leadership, is an ag background, and students that come from the dairy industry obviously have great experiences within ag and can fit right in there with the financial service officer mentors that we're going to pair them with.
And empathy is very important, and when they bring it to the table, it saves a lot of the teaching end of it. Well, I hope you found some good kids here today to work with from all ages. And Elizabeth, what have you learned in this interview?
Well, so far that I've learned many things about dairy products and.
And your mommy works in the dairy industry, doesn't she? And who does she work for?
She works for DFA, Dairy Farmers of America.
Yes, folks, and there we have it, the excellent spokeswoman that Elizabeth is. She's an up and budding and aspiring star within the dairy industry. So that's why we're here today, folks. We're looking at the dairy business, and we certainly have interviewed two people who will be pivotal. So thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.
Down the Road is brought to you by Prince Agra, makers of Omnigen cattle feed, Woodruff Enterprises of Springfield, Ohio, and Stewart Labs, makers of pain-relieving products.